Yes.
Okay, I'll take Councillor Hickman and then Councillor Mincher.
Yeah, I've just got a little concern where it says multiple tenants. Would that include things like care and independence, the hospital side, where they've got obviously permanent tenants living in a block?
Yes, it will.
Makes sense.
Well, I'm just...
Just to clarify, bringing back to basics, I think Norm put to us they're already receiving separate services, so this is the way we're deciding. It's not like running a hose out to the back carriage that's been converted for the weekend. They're already receiving separate services, so this
Correct.
is the way we're going to define that they should actually then be paying a proportion of the standard rates.
Yes, we've already gone to the extent of checking out all these houses for their services, and wherever we've decided that it's separate portion anyway, they're getting charged a water charge, and they've been doing that for 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's already been happening. They're aware of it. So that's why we're saying it's unlikely that people will be arguing that
Definition, isn't it?
because it's yes.
Do you have any idea of the number of these SUIPs?
900.
Yeah, roughly about 1,500, 1,500. There'll be 930, I believe, properties which will be affected, 70 of which are ours. So we will have to pay more as well for our pension housing, for example. Yeah, so we will pay more as well. So I suppose you can take whatever. I've got it here somewhere. I've got a figure which shows the council. Yeah, those 6. So we've got 29 properties which will actually create 70 SUIPs. So we can take that basically off of that total number. But we're talking about 1,500, roughly.
Okay, Councillor Cook.
Why are we one of the last councils to go down this track? Why has it been left for so long?
I would say probably historically because previous councils have just backed off it and not wanted to go down that route.
Okay, any further questions? Because there's 4 parts to this. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more debate on this. But the interesting thing to me, whether it's fair or not fair, whether we were the first to do it or the last to do it, I'm going to be very interested in reading the submissions from the people who are actually affected by it when we go to make the decision. So anything we can do to make rating more fair and equitable on everyone and everything in the district is our duty and responsibility. So I'm looking forward to reading about it, looking into it, and deliberating on it. So moving on to the next part, Mr. Minhena, is it? Or Norman, sorry.
Sorry, the next one we're moving on to is subject of district rating, which we have had some workshops on to date, but as far as pulling together the draft LTP or LTCCP amendment and the annual plan, we need some guidance from Council as to whether they agree that we use this rating methodology as far as the process we just talked about for the SUIPs.
In plain language, you were saying moving to one rating area.
Correct.
This was workshopped in the last training, and I don't know if it's been done much in this training as well, has it? I know it was done quite extensively. Councillor can back me up here, back in the last training for the elections, and I know we've done it a little bit here. Council produced, did a lot of work and produced some scenarios on one single rating area rather than TT and TKMP and all that historical stuff. As I remember, I don't want to go into facts and figures, there was very, very little adjustment right across the district in the effect of going to one rating area. In fact, I think Turangi got a little bit of relief, and I'm not going to mention figures, so I don't remember them, it doesn't matter. And it was seen by other councillors, and I think in this term, as being taking a lot of the parochialness out of the district, the them and us and all that sort of thing, where we became one rating district. A lot easier to control and look after with staff's opinions. So again, this is not taking us a carte blanche down that track, fait accompli. It is putting the process in motion that we can go out for submissions, again, do our deliberations and see if it's good for the district. Personally, we are one district. It's like one family. I'm sort of, yeah. But like, again, I'm going to repeat what Mr. Williams said, because I thought it was very clever words. It's how we rate the district, not what the rate increases are going to be or how much the rates are.
Anything you want to add, Norman?
No, I think basically the main reason why, as far as I'm concerned, we're putting this item up is we had a workshop just before Christmas on this. We were certainly given a steer by everyone then that they were actually quite keen for us to go further and do the one rating. But we just need something sort of a little bit more definite so that we can go ahead and just finishing everything off for the
I would like to comment
audit
here at this particular time as well.
Yep.
The Turangi-Tongariro Community Board is fully within their rights to submit, as you would know, Councillor Kepper and Councillor Henderson, in their own right, and keep just as community board members. So it will all be submitted on and deliberated on in due course, I feel. And I think, again, it pays to look at these things and see if there is a better way. And if it proves that it's better, well, we'd do it. And if it proves that it's not, we won't.
Can I ask a bit of a contentious question, but does this mean that the funds that is owned by TK, namely the TL funds, becomes available for the whole district?
No, it doesn't mean that at all, and that's sort of digging down the devil's in the detail. That TEL fund that belongs historically to this end of the lake can be very easily ring-fenced, just as the forest down in the Turangi area can be. So there's a lot of issues here with the stuff that belong to TT and historically that end of the lake and this end of the lake. See how we're going again? This end of the lake, that end of the lake, over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. So really, sorry. Hang on, I've got Councillor Kepper here. Obviously, I've got you. I'll come to you. So obviously it was a way to move forward, but issues can be addressed at the time. And if you're referring to TL fund, which you are, if this council decided it wanted to, it could certainly be ring-fenced in some way.
Yeah, this is largely a new council trying to catch up. All right, so I've no problems with these issues being dealt with in the manner that our ratepayers can have an input, and you're promising that this is only going to lead to that process. If that's the case, I might just shift my position on this, because when I read the original part 2 of the resolution, that wasn't quite what it said. But to use your own words, if we're going to have a marriage, we're going to have to share everything.
And that goes back to Councillor Craig's question, which can't really have an answer here today. I tried to overview it by saying, if this council wants to going forward, and it could be ring-fenced. May not be. Might decide as a council that this is one big family and everything goes in the pot. But that's later. That's in your deliberation process.
Through the chair, sorry to disagree with you, but quite simply the concept of district rating is it's all in or nothing's in. So in other words, district rating is treating every asset and liability in the district as district. No ring fencing, full stop.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's the first time you've disagreed with us, but we are governance and you are part of management, and when we deliberate as governance, we'll make our decisions and heed your advice and work from there, but it will be after the submission process and after we've had workshops and been shown all the pluses and the minuses that go with it.
I agree with you, Your Worship, because Mr. Campbell has kindly supplied me with some figures detailing the different rating variations, if you like, and just by having one rating doesn't mean to say the rate's going to be different here than in Turangi or the other way around in Mangakino. So what I'm saying is, having one rating, you could still alter the rates later on by just altering the components in the rating.
Okay, so let's move on. You know, I can remember, I can remember last year, I can't remember the exact figures here. Oh, TT rates go up 6.6%. Taupo rates go up 4.1% something. It's just, it's confusing. It's taking a lot of extra work from the staff to run all these different. I would like to think that we would at least look at it and go out for submissions on it to get some advice from the people who count, and that's the ratepayers and the stakeholders in this district. Councillor Williams.
Through the Chair, I detect some concerns from Mr. Manhina regarding a unitary rating system, and I just wondered if you could tell us what those might be.
Well, quite simply, in the pure world, as I say, district rating is district rating. Once you start trying to run a system of ring fencing parts of the financial dynamics of your district, you are destroying a lot of the reasons why you are moving to district rating in the first place. You might as well stay as two totally separate units from a rating perspective within the district. The savings that you achieve and the aspect of equality, and we've talked about situations where properties just about span where the line is drawn between TT and TK and across the road from each other, being treated differently. All that goes out the window once you start ring fencing.
Okay, anything further?
So it was only just regards to assets such as the TEL fund that you were concerned about?
Well, it's where you draw the line, because you could say certain assets have certain loans associated with them, so why shouldn't they be ring fenced and sitting within a particular area? Other aspects could be there are investment assets that are available outside the TL fund. Why aren't they ring fenced within that particular area? Where do you draw the line? You might as well not go down the district rating path at all.
And it's actually very well put, but I did say that the government you are governance, so you will make your decision when time comes. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of assets in this district, so you either put them in one pot or you do as you ring fence them, but you advise us not to. But there's a lot of assets in this district, and they're not just at the Taupo end. We've got all that land around the ETA. There's a lot of assets. Turangi has a lot of forestry we own down there, forests. So it's something that we need to look at the time, and I think, and it's going to need a good looking at. But we'll go through the submission process and deliberate then, I feel. Councillor Minchin?
Norm, would it be fair to say that there's savings being made by just having the one district, from administration, from working at, like there's a big cost involved with trying to have the three separate rates and things like that, so there's initial savings that are forever.
Yes.
That's what you want to achieve initially, whatever other big issues are.
Yes.
Okay, can we move further on? What's your third one, Mr. Manhina?
We'll move on to the proverbial market development rate.
Agrees that any changes to the marketing development rate should be explored as part of the long-term plan 2012-2022, which means that's not this year's process, it becomes next year's process. Open up for discussion.